Disney presents.
He'd ride with the law till the battle was through. With a star on his chest, he was law in the West. They called him Elfego, El Gato.
When Elfego Baca gave up his badge as sheriff of Socorro County to become a practicing attorney in Santa Fe, he was sure that all disputes between men could be resolved by these two books, the civil and criminal codes. He believed firmly that through the due process of law, the innocent would be protected and the guilty punished. But there was another side to Baca's creed, a principle not written into any law books. He believed that all law should be tempered with the warmth of human understanding. This is especially true in the newest adventure of our true hero of the West. In it, Elfego's sympathy for the family of a man accused of murder tempts him to let his heart rule his head in his efforts to see that justice is done. Its title, Gus Tomlin is Dead.
Who's there?
Think about it. You wanted to see me about something, Matt?
Him.
Hello, Elfego. Are you in trouble again?
You call earning an easy $2,000 trouble, then that's what I'm in.
Will you come out of there?
I'm comfortable here.
I'm not. Come on out of there.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I sure wouldn't want to cause you any discomfort, sir.
And you've done your share today. Before you came to Santa Fe, Elfego, Gregory Palmer was murdered. He was one of the biggest ranchers in the area.
His brand was famous even in Socorro.
Well, his killer was a gunny named Gus Tomlin. He got clean away. We haven't seen or heard of him in the last 7 years. Until now.
When do I get the 2,000, Sheriff?
Link claims he's seen Gus Tomlin.
Sure I did. I was prospecting up in the hills near Granite. I came down into town for supplies, and I see this fella walking around just like you own the place. And I says to myself, that's Gus Tomlin. Then I headed for Santa Fe, feeling it my duty to report same.
Sounds like a job for a sheriff, not a lawyer.
It's not as easy as that, Elfego. This loudmouth stopped in the Palace Bar, and some of Palmer's men were there.
Didn't say nothing much.
Well, you said enough. You told everyone you saw Tomlin.
Yeah, but I didn't say where.
Now remember this, Link. If you tell anyone where you saw him, I'll see that you're done out of that reward money.
Anything on yet, Chips?
No, boss, he's still inside with the sheriff.
We're talking about Gregory Palmer. That's his son, Ben, out there.
Yes, I know him. He has a violent temper.
That Baca fella just went in.
Ben swore if he ever found his father's killer, he'd hang him to the closest tree.
Open up, Sheriff.
I can't let him take Link. He'll make him tell him where he saw Tomlin.
They will not.
Last chance, Sheriff, before we break it down.
I'm gonna say this just once, Ben. Anyone touching that door gets both barrels.
All we want to do is talk to Link.
Well, that'll be sometime tomorrow, after I'm finished with him.
I'm not waiting. Find something we can use to batter down the store with.
Come on, boys.
What do you want me to do?
You go to Granite. I'm deputizing you to pick up this Gus Tomlin. Take him to Albuquerque, arrange for a change of venue. He wouldn't have a chance if he was tried here in Santa Fe.
Do you have a wanted poster on Tomlin?
I've been hunting for one, but that happened 7 years ago.
How will I know him?
Your best bet is contact the sheriff in Granite, Elfego.
All right, Sheriff, what'll it be? You let us in or not?
You better get going.
All right, boys. Well, Mr. Baca, what were you doing in the sheriff's office?
You forget, Ben, I'm a lawyer. I have a client in there.
Who, Link?
Yes, I'm going to arrange for his release.
How are you going to do that?
Well, I might get rid of habeas corpus. So you see, all of this is unnecessary. In a short time, you'll be able to reach Link without destroying public property.
All right. We'll wait at the Palace Bar until Elfego gets his habeas corpus. Chips, you and Gabe keep an eye on the jail just in case the sheriff tries to slip one over. Better not take too long about that habeas corpus, Elfego.
Ben, you ought to know lawyers take enough time to make it look important.
Yeah.
Good day, gentlemen. Sheriff Wilson?
That's right.
Well, I'll see you later, Jim.
Hi, Judge.
Excuse me. What can I do for you?
My name is Elfego Baca.
Elfego Baca. I read the transcript of that Griswold murder trial, and I must tell you, sir, that I admire greatly your defense of that unhappy man.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Baca, this is Judge Thomas Rain.
How do you do?
How do you do? Your presence here might save me a long trip to Albuquerque. That is, if I can get the sheriff's help.
That's what I'm here for, to help.
I'm looking for a man wanted for murder in Santa Fe.
What's his name?
Gus Tomlin.
Well, it was very nice to have met you, Mr. Baca.
Very nice to have met you. I have reason to believe the man I'm looking for is in Granite.
He is.
Can you tell me where?
I'll take you to him. You said you wanted Gus Tomlin. He's been right there for the last 7 years.
mister. I'm sorry. I was only chasing a rabbit.
So that's what you were doing? Hunting rabbits?
Not hunting. My pa never lets me touch a gun. Chasing rabbits. That's what I was doing. Chasing rabbits.
Ross, this is no time to bother Mr. Baca.
Oh, he's no bother.
I'm Peggy Minters, and this is my son, Ross, Mr. Baca.
How do you do?
How do you do? We found out who you were when we looked through your papers. Just in case.
I understand.
I brought you some soup.
Oh, thank you. How did I get here?
Ross ran in and told us you'd been thrown off your horse. So Bill, that's my husband, brought you here.
Where is my horse?
He's in the barn. Pa said he wouldn't be fit to ride for a long time.
By the way, young man, what were you doing on the other side of the pass? You know I don't like you to go out of the valley.
Oh, Ma, I was only fishing. How do you feel, Mr. Baca?
Oh, I'm fine. By the way, Mrs. Minters, I don't like to impose like this. As soon as I get a new horse, I'll be on my way.
We wouldn't think of your leaving until you're well enough to travel.
That was a little white lie. I mean about me going fishing.
It was?
Yes, I really went up to the lake to get some ice.
Ice? Why?
Listen, let Ma know.
You feel like eating some solid food, Mr. Baca?
Oh, no, thank you. The soup is enough. And believe me, I've never tasted better.
Thank you.
I feel like it, Ma.
I don't know how you do it. You just had a full dinner.
Remember what Pa always says, Ma? A growing boy and some plants need lots of food and sunshine.
Oh, you little monkey.
Where is Mr. Minters? I'd like to thank him.
Oh, he went to the harness shop to get a cinch repaired. He'll be back soon.
That was another little white lie. Pa didn't go up to the harness shop.
He didn't?
No, he really went up to the lake to get some more ice.
Ross! Ross, come away now and let Mr. Baca get some rest.
Any luck, Pa?
Nope, still loose as rain.
Look, Pa!
Well, hello there.
How do you do?
First time I've seen you with your eyes open.
Well, they wouldn't be open at all if it wasn't for this fine boy of yours.
Sometimes I think I'd trade him for a good mule if somebody offered it.
A mule wouldn't stay in this family. It would have to work too hard.
Well, keep going with that hatchet, else your mom will get suspicious.
He handles the axe well.
I like to think I teach him useful things only.
He told me how you feel about guns.
Well, I claim a gun is a poor substitute for brains, my friend. This is an ice cream freezer.
I know. So that's what the ice was for.
Pa sent all the way to St. Louis for that machine. We're gonna have a big celebration Thursday. It's Ma's birthday.
The only time my wife ever gets homesick for Vermont is when she thinks about the ice cream she used to have there.
We were gonna surprise her, but they forgot to send the instructions with the machine.
Well, have you enough ice?
Yes, Ross and I have been packing ice since all last week. Keep it in the shed over there.
We got plenty of ice, but no ice cream.
I don't see any rock salt.
Rock salt?
Sure, that's what makes the freezing quick, makes the cream solid.
Oh, so that does the trick, huh?
There's no rock salt in the house, Pa.
Why don't we go in town tomorrow and get a sack?
Now, that'd be the way to do it. Then Ma wouldn't know. You and Ross.
When we bring that ice cream into the party Thursday, won't Ma's eyes pop out?
How long are you going to be in Granite, Mr. Baca?
Oh, as a matter of fact, my business is through here. I was looking for a man named Gus Tomlin.
Have you found him?
No, I found his grave. Then I was on my way back to Santa Fe, and I ran into a rabbit and a boy.
You'll stay until Thursday, won't you, Mr. Baca? Promise you'll stay until Ma's party.
All right, I promise.
You to do something for me.
Well, it'd be a pleasure, Jim. But if you could just wait a while.
I can't wait. There's a man in town who's interested in Gus Tomlin.
Tomlin?
Yeah. He's down.
Well, that's out of the way. Hello, Roz.
Hello, Mr. Bullock. This is Elfego Baca.
I'm glad to know you, Mr. Baca.
How do you do?
What can I do for you?
He wants to buy a horse.
What kind?
A good one.
Well, being that Mr. Baca's a guest in our town, Ross, maybe we'd better let him do a little talking for himself, huh? I've got all kinds. Carriage horses, plow horses, saddle horses. What kind would you like, Mr. Baca?
A saddle.
A saddle horse, please.
Right this way.
Well, come on if you're coming.
Every one of them as sound as a dollar, Mr. Baca. Look them over. If you don't like these, I've got some more out in the corral.
Hey, Ken.
What is it, Art?
Well, of the three, I think I'll take the...
Well?
How much for the sorrel?
$75.
I'll take him.
You want him today?
Well, I was in no hurry.
Well, take him now or you don't get him at all.
All right. I'll take him. Now. I wonder what changed him.
Search me.
You just bought yourself a horse, mister.
Thank you. Come on.
Well, you got yourself a sound horse now.
Yes, I have.
Silvers. Don't say anything.
Being as we're buying, why don't we buy the rock salt now?
That's a good idea.
Good morning.
Morning.
How come everybody's so huffy all of a sudden?
I don't know, amigo. Let's go inside and get the rock salt.
Baca?
Hello, Ross.
Hello, Sheriff.
You just started into the store, hadn't you?
Me and Mr. Baca were gonna buy some rock salt.
You go on in the store and get it, Ross. I'll wait for you here. What's on your mind, Sheriff?
Why'd you sneak back into town?
You're mistaken. I didn't sneak back.
Yesterday, you rode out of here plain as sin. This morning, you're back nosing around. Why?
Now, why do people usually nose around?
Now, we've got a nice, clean town here. And we don't want anybody messing it up.
Sheriff, did you hear about Mr. Baca? He was hurt in a fall. His horse, too. I saw it happen. That's why I'm in town, to buy another horse. Pa's taking care of his other one for a while.
Well, Mr. Baca, I'm sorry if I stepped out of line. It's just...
Oh, I know. You have a nice, clean town. You want to keep it that way. Say, Ross, how long do you figure that newspaper has been there?
Oh, I don't know.
7 years?
Longer than I can remember.
Why don't we go over there and see how far back the files go?
Here he comes now.
Well, hello, Ross.
Hello, Mr. Sibley. This is my friend, Elfego Baca.
How do you do, Mr. Baca?
How do you do?
I'm showing him around town.
Well, why don't you show him the school, the church, and Boot Hill?
I'd rather see the inside of your establishment.
What could possibly interest you in an old newspaper office?
Well, I'd like to have a look at your back files if I could.
I'm sorry, my files are private property, and I never let anybody see them.
Mr. Sibley, I was under the impression that newspapers are, in a sense, responsible to the public.
In a sense, that might hold for other newspapers, Mr. Baca, but the Granite Clarion happens to be my personal property, and I do with it what I please.
I wonder what's gotten into everybody.
Ross, I think I have an idea.
Whoa!
Do you think you can put the team away by yourself?
Well, I should say so.
I'll put my horse in the corral.
Okay.
Take it away, Ross.
Giddy up.
Warning you. Get rid of it. I'm not going to be responsible for what happens if you don't. Sheriff.
I heard what you said.
Well?
If any violence is done to this family, you'll answer to me.
You're real taken with this family, Baca?
I owe them a lot.
Then go back to Santa Fe. Right now.
I've been waiting for the chance to talk to you alone. I heard the last part of that run-in you had with the sheriff.
Don't worry about the sheriff. He likes to bark, but he has no bite.
I'm worried about you, Peggy, and the boy.
Why?
Because you befriended me, something might happen to you.
Oh, no.
You remember I told you I came here looking for a man named Gus Tomlin?
Gus Tomlin is dead. He was buried in the churchyard 7 years ago.
You didn't tell me you knew him.
I knew him.
Are you sure it's him buried in that grave?
Are you saying he isn't?
Did you actually see him buried?
No, I didn't.
Well, there's something very strange about this whole affair. Because I asked about Tomlin, the whole town is my enemy.
Oh, I think you're mistaken about that.
No, Bill, I'm not mistaken. I'm afraid you might suffer because of your kindness to me.
Well, don't you worry about us. Everybody in this town is our friend.
Isn't that ice cream ready yet?
Well, suppose we take a look. Ice cream.
It's great. It's just great.
Well, I think I'll be going.
Where are you going?
Just to satisfy my curiosity.
Where's Mr. Baca going?
Into town.
He'll be back, won't he?
Yes, I'm sure he will be.
Hello, Judge.
Oh, hello, Mr. Baca. I'm starting out on my circuit again in the morning, and I'm just clearing up a few last-minute details.
I'm glad I caught you in time.
Well, sit down, Mr. Baca. Something I can do for you?
Yes, I'd like a court order to examine the back files of Granite Clarion.
Why?
I have reason to believe there's a conspiracy in this town to conceal evidence concerning a fugitive from justice.
Who?
Gus Tomlin.
I can't issue a court order in that matter.
Why not?
Gus Tomlin is buried in the church cemetery.
Did you see him buried?
No, but the grave was there in the tombstone. I'm sorry, Mr. Baca, but to my way of thinking, the situation does not warrant me issuing a court order as you request.
Your Honor, if I have to go to the territorial governor to get that order, I will. Hello, Mr. Sibley.
How do you do?
With your permission, I'd like to have a look at your files.
Sorry, private property, like I told you before.
In that case, you better read this.
Go ahead. I've nothing to hide.
Where are they, please?
Right over there.
Where will I find those 7 years back?
Next to the bottom shelf.
I don't find the issues of June 7th, 15th, 26th, and July 4th.
I think I burned them.
You think you burned them?
Yes, every once in a while I get a terrific urge to start burning things. You seem awfully fond of 7 years ago. Why?
That was the year Gus Tomlin was supposed to have been buried.
Supposed to have been?
Why would a town bury a gunslinger in a churchyard when it has Boot Hill so handy?
Go ahead and tell him, Paul.
Here's an issue you haven't seen, Mr. Baca. I'll give it to you for free. Have you ever been in a typhoid epidemic, Mr. Baca?
Our wells were drying up. The water in them became contaminated.
People dying on all sides and nobody knowing who was going to be next. That's when Gus Tomlin got here.
There was just one source of water on the other side of Granite Pass.
The Calhouns, a father and 4 sons, each one meaner than the other, laid claim to the pass.
They charged $10 a barrel for pure water.
Sheriff went up there to face him, got 4 bullets in him.
You can walk across the street and ask him to show you the scars.
Sounds like a brave man.
It didn't mean anything to the Calhouns, but the people who couldn't afford the $10 had to drink contaminated water.
That's when Gus Tomlin showed.
He couldn't stomach what was going on, so he went to the pass. And when he was finished, 3 Calhouns were dead, and the other 2 are still running. For all we know.
That's why we buried him in the churchyard, mister.
What did he die of?
He caught typhoid.
And you buried him in a churchyard?
Yes, we knew Tomlin's reputation, what he was supposed to be. But that was before he got to Granite.
After the Calhoun scrap, he never had another fight.
He claimed the gun was a poor substitute for brains. What did you find?
Something.
You can't rip up that newspaper.
Why not? You gave it to me.
But I've changed my mind.
I didn't know this article was so important to you.
Elfego, it's not necessary for you to knock.
This time it is. Where's Ross?
Stop doing his chores.
This is very difficult for me to do. I must ask you some questions.
Ask your questions, Elfego. If we can answer them, we will.
How long have you been married?
A little less than 7 years.
And you, Bill? The first time you set foot in Granite was during a typhoid epidemic.
About 7 years ago.
Your real name?
Gus Tomlin.
You're wanted for murder in Santa Fe.
I committed no murder.
Do you deny you killed Gregory Palmer?
No, but I didn't murder him. There was a range war, and both sides had hired gunslingers. Palmer drew on me, and I beat him to the draw. That's all there is to it.
I'm glad, and I believe you.
Thank you, Elfego.
But you have to stand trial.
But he's innocent.
Then he has nothing to fear from a trial.
He wouldn't stand a chance. Ben Palmer has sworn to see him hung.
I'll take him to Albuquerque. He can be tried there.
That won't help.
If all the juries in the world declared Bill innocent, it wouldn't stop Ben Palmer.
The law protects the innocent.
But we're friends, Elfego.
If the law made exceptions for friends, there would be no protection for anyone.
It's no use, Peggy. We both knew we'd have to face it sooner or later.
No. 7 years ago, this town buried Gus Tomlin. And he'll remain buried if you'll just let him rest in peace.
You're asking me to go against my sworn duty.
I'm asking you not to destroy a good human being. This town and everyone in it is better because of him.
Peggy.
Violence is a thing of the past in Granite because of his example. Because of him, people here live in peace and dignity.
Mr. Baca, you're back.
Ross, come here.
Ross, Mr. Baca's a deputy, and I'm going away with him.
What do you mean going away? Why?
Tell him, Mr. Baca.
Look, boy, some time ago in Santa Fe, your pa got in some trouble. And now he's going to stand trial for it.
No, Pa. No. You're gonna take my paw away, are you, Mr. Baca?
I don't want to, Ross.
Then why do it? You're my friend. You won't take paw away, will you, Mr. Baca?
He's just coming with me to straighten things out.
No!
It won't be long, boy.
Everything will be all right. He'll come back to you. You listen to me, Ross.
I will not listen to you. Don't let him take you, Pa. Don't let him take you.
Let's get this over with.
I'll shoot him. I'll shoot him. I'll shoot him if he tries to take my paw.
Ross! Son, haven't I taught you that it's wrong to even think about killing?
I know, Pa. I know.
Happy birthday.
Let's go.
Baca, before we head for Albuquerque, I'd like to see the sheriff.
That town's a keg of dynamite.
I'll see to it that it doesn't explode. It's just that, well, my wife and boy will be here alone. I'd like to have the sheriff keep an eye on the place.
All right, get your horse.
Better get out to the Minters before it's too late.
Well, everybody's here.
Then what are we waiting for?
Looks like we're too late.
Before I go to Santa Fe with Baca, I want you to do me a favor.
I guess this makes you a pretty happy man, Mr. Baca.
That's a pretty bad guess, Sheriff.
Jim, I'm doing this of my own free will.
You stay here, fellas. Johnny, cover that back door.
Don't worry about it.
We're just coming out to see you, Bill.
My friends, we all knew this was going to happen sooner or later. Now, I won't be gone too long.
You're not going anywheres, Bill.
You're staying right here.
If we had to kill someone to keep you here.
Sheriff, this man is a fugitive from justice. I expect you to do your duty.
He's your prisoner, not mine.
Oh, now, wait a minute, boys. I gave Baca my word. He'd have no trouble if he let me come into town first.
We didn't give our word, Bill.
Then you listen to me. I'm going through that door with Gus Tomlin.
Gus Tomlin's dead. We buried him 7 years ago.
This is Bill Minters.
The best thing that ever happened to this town.
You're acting like a lynch mob.
Baca's the one that's acting like a lynch mob.
Put those guns away. Start shooting in this close space, no telling how many will be killed.
Well, you heard what the sheriff said. If anyone wants to stop me, start shooting now.
Sheriff?
It's Ben Powder.
Is that what you want to turn him over to?
Everybody stay right here. What is this?
I want Gus Tomlin.
People don't always get what they want.
I'm Judge Thomas Rain of the 1st Territorial District of New Mexico.
Glad to meet you, Judge.
You flout the legal authority of this territory, and you'll be punished to the full extent of the law.
Well, we're here to help the law, Judge. When we find Tomlin, you can try him on the spot, and we'll hang him for you.
You threatening to take things into your own hands?
I'm just stating that if the law doesn't hang Tomlin, I will.
That's how far a trial will get him, the end of Ben Palmer's rope.
Judge, you better go inside.
What's going on here? Keep out of this, Judge.
Palmer, you get smart. Take your men and ride out of town.
You be smart, Sheriff, and produce Tomlin. And you've got 2 minutes to do it in.
No matter what happens, Bill, we'll never let Ben Palmer take you.
Baca, I'll settle this once and for all. Now, let me through, boys.
See what you make me do? Come on, pick him up. We'll carry him out to the livery stable. We'll hide him there.
Judge, it's your sworn duty to uphold the law.
It's my sworn duty to interpret the law in such a way that innocent men are protected.
All right, Sheriff, you've got 1 more minute to produce Tomlin, or I burn this town to the ground.
Mr. Baca, you've heard the briefs from both sides. Now take your pick.
My pick is law and order, and I see none of it on either side. A man who was accused of a crime must be tried by his peers.
Agreed. You see, Gus Tomlin's peers all about you. They tried him in the court of everyday living and found him innocent.
I cannot accept that. When I was a sheriff and since I became a lawyer, I've tried to live by the letter of the law.
Your letter of the law, Mr. Baca, can kill a dozen innocent men. In this case, it's the spirit of the law which promises most justice.
Well, Mr. Baca.
Hello, Ben.
You know, when you didn't show up at the Santa Fe jail with a habeas corpus, we figured we'd get Link for ourselves, in our own little way.
I take it you don't trust me.
Sure, I trust you, Elfego. Like I trust a 2-headed snake. Now, you could end up like Link here with a busted head. Or dead like anybody else who interferes with us if we don't get Tomlin.
None of us wants to hurt innocent people, do we?
You know, you got a heart as big as all outdoors, Elfego. It figures you came here to find Tomlin.
That's right.
Did you find him?
Yes.
Where is he? I said, where is he?
I'll take you to him.
Dirty rat.
No, Ken, murder's not the way.
There's your Gus Tomlin.
Baca, you tricking me again?
That would be a grim joke, my friend.
Check that grave, Chips.
It's been here a long time, Ben.
You said you saw Tomlin alive.
I thought I did. I guess maybe the $2,000 reward money made me see things.
It's all right, Link. You still get the reward money. It was for Tomlin, dead or alive.
I sure hate to be deprived of putting him underground myself. Come on, boys.
Everything would be all right. Look, Mom, ice cream.
Why is everybody so sad? I brought you a present for your birthday. Happy birthday, Peggy.
In the land of big men, when this great west was wild, Elfego was small and his nature was mild. Elfego was wise and Elfego was strong. Elfego El Gato, who made right from wrong. And the legend was that, like El Gato the cat, 9 lives had Elfego Baca.